Hello there, poetry lovers everywhere. My name is Sarah Jenkins. Welcome to another poetry deep dive today. I love Denis Martindale. He has written over 3,700 poems for the Poem Hunter website. Denis Martindale has written a brand new parking problem poem. That is why the title of the poem is I Don't Own the Pavement. Here is what the brand new poem's message shares with us today. 3,700? That number is just absolutely staggering, isn't it? Before we really unpack the specific verses of this new piece, we just have to stop and appreciate the sheer prolific nature of this poet. Writing over 3,700 poems for the Poem Hunter website is literally a monumental achievement. It shows a writer who is constantly observing the world, just constantly processing daily life through verse. And in this particular explainer, we get to see exactly how he takes a very modern and honestly very frustrating mundane reality, parking, and just turns it into a captivating piece of art. Okay, let's dive right into this.
So the poem opens up with this really wonderful juxtaposition. It reads, I count each road as heaven sent. As I don't own the street, I don't own the nearby pavement I walk on with my feet. Martindale immediately establishes this vivid sense of detachment from the physical world around him. Think about it. He lives in a neighborhood, he physically walks on the pavement with his own feet, yet he's pointing out this very literal message here. We do not actually own the ground we traverse every single day. There's this kind of quiet acceptance, right? Counting it as heaven sent, but also this really sharp observation about our public spaces.
And this feeling of disconnect, it extends deep into the super gritty details of urban life. The poem continues, pointing out that he doesn't own the local nightlights or the smelly drains that they illuminate. He really emphasizes that he doesn't have the deeds or any rights whatsoever to the avenues or the lanes. And honestly, what I love so much about this section is just how microscopic he gets with it. He notes that even though he seldom travels, he doesn't own one bit of it, not even a pothole's gravel or one full hand of grit. By zooming in on imagery as incredibly small as grit or gravel, he makes the whole concept of urban ownership feel, just incredibly fragmented and totally distant from the average citizen. Now, this philosophical musing actually builds into a very real-world context that the author provided alongside the poem. Dated the 4th of August, 2026, Martindale notes that there have been recent changes creating massive parking problems for millions of people across the UK. So this isn't just some abstract thought experiment about who owns a handful of gravel. No, it is a direct response to a very real, very modern headache. We all feel that universal squeeze of urban bureaucracy, don't we? The public doesn't own the city's streets or the pavements, and these constantly shifting rules are creating immense friction between local residents and their everyday environment. And honestly, the anxiety has actually reached a fever pitch. People aren't just worried about the public streets anymore. Because the public doesn't own the pavements, all this confusion has completely bled into private property, leaving folks genuinely wondering if they can even park their own cars on their very own driveways. We've all felt that sudden stomach-dropping panic of seeing a new no parking sign just randomly pop up overnight. This right here highlights the core tension of the entire poem, the absolute absurdity of feeling like a trespasser in your own neighborhood, a place where the very act of just storing your vehicle has become a complete administrative nightmare. Now, to counter all of this incredibly heavy bureaucracy, Martindale does what he does best. He injects some incredible humor into the situation. He enthusiastically lists off all the absurd vehicles he doesn't own. I haven't got a hovercraft, I haven't got a tank, I haven't got a yacht or raft. And why? Well, because of what's left in my bank. It's just a beautifully grounded moment. By listing off these wildly extravagant, ridiculous modes of transport, he's basically poking fun at the whole idea of vehicle ownership altogether, while also giving a very relatable nod to the financial realities that dictate what we can and cannot actually own. So, you might be wondering, how does he navigate this crisis? What exactly is the poet's solution to the great UK parking problem? Well, it's brilliantly simple. As a little old me, as he calls himself, he simply opts out. He doesn't own a car, and he doesn't own a motorbike. He cheerfully declares, no car, no M.O.T. Now, for those of you who might not know, the M.O.T is the mandatory UK vehicle safety test, and let me tell you, it is a notorious source of stress and expense. By just throwing his hands up and saying, no car, he delightfully avoids the dreaded M.O.T entirely. It's basically a massive declaration of freedom. And this choice represents a much wider lifestyle shift. On one side, we have the modern commuter's reality. You know the one. It's filled with the stress of constantly worrying about car insurance, super expensive repair costs, and the frankly terrifying prospect of traveling accidents. But on the other side, We have Martindale's pensioner reality. Nice folks just deliver his shopping right to his front door. He's totally traded the high-stakes, expensive, and sometimes dangerous world of daily driving for a peaceful, beautifully managed life at home. He literally says he couldn't ask for more.
Actually, Martindale points out a massive upside to all this in his prose notes. Sure, he pays for these grocery deliveries, but guess what? He doesn't have to aimlessly wander around a supermarket for an hour. It's really not just about avoiding driving. It's about reclaiming his time. By dodging those crowded aisles and just having nice folks bring things right to the door, he is curating this amazing life of comfort and convenience that completely sidesteps the modern commuter's daily grind.
And that convenience, it totally compounds over the year, avoiding a massive 500 dangerous, stressful trips. The author points out that as a pensioner, he is absolutely thrilled that he no longer has to go to work and risk his life traveling there and back that many times. Whether it's braving the icy roads of winter, the heavy showers of spring, the sweltering heat of summer, or the totally unpredictable weather of fall, those are 500 perilous journeys he is just happily skipping. When you really look at it that way, opting out of car ownership seems way less like a limitation and a whole lot more like a profound life hack. Because he's eliminated all that risk, we arrive at this totally wonderful stanza. He writes, "I may live for 100 years and yet not drive at all, not facing fines that cause folks tears and drive them up the wall." This car-free lifestyle isn't just saving him money on insurance or saving him an hour at the supermarket. He actually suggests it's contributing to his longevity. He could literally live to be 100, precisely because he isn't dealing with the stress, the literal tears, and the wall-climbing frustration of navigating UK driving and parking fines. Which finally brings us to the poem's absolutely delightful punchline. After establishing all these totally practical reasons for not owning a car, he jokes, "I park my plane on my flat roof so I don't get a fine. I know you think that's not the truth." It just perfectly encapsulates the absurdity of the whole situation. He emphasizes the ridiculous, highly theoretical lengths someone might have to go to in order to simply avoid a UK parking fine today. If you can't park on the street or the pavement or maybe even your own driveway, well, I guess you just have to land a plane on your flat roof, right? We conclude our explainer today with the poem's final super provocative question, but where can I park mine? Denis Martindale leaves us with this lingering thought, forcing us to really ponder the very real, very modern realities of urban space and vehicle ownership. If the pavements don't belong to us and the rules just keep changing, where exactly do we fit our lives and our cars into this heavily regulated world? It's such a brilliant question wrapped up in a wonderfully witty poem. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive, poetry lovers. Keep reading, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.